Okay, all that thing that was said about this being a stand-up comedy was a lie. Okay, there weren't two truths. There was one lie that this was comedy, and it isn't. Okay, what it's gonna be is like the last joke, a PowerPoint presentation. So don't look at me. Okay, please look at the slides. I have my friend who's gonna be changing the slides, and I'm gonna be just reading them out. And like any smart presenter, I've already put it on slideshow, so you can't tell the length of the presentation by looking at the number of slides. Right? Okay, so today I'm going to be presenting to you tales from the life of someone like us. And like us, by like us, what I mean is an engineer doing his worst. Before we get started, few things to say. This is a light-hearted work of fiction intended only to try and entertain you, so I'm only going to try. And any resemblance to any person living or dead is purely and entirely intentional. Of course, this document does not contain any technical data. So we'll start with chapter 1. They all knew his fate when he was only 8. For once, while playing cricket on a rather slippery wicket, about to bowl in full control, he ran in like a hare, as if to say, beware. The crowd cheered him on. That's him running. I'm not good at this either. The crowd cheered him on. Come on, come on. But suddenly he stopped. So someone asked, what's going on? Just before he bowled the ball, he stopped, wondered why they all took out of his pocket a strange-looking toy. You could hear people saying, what's wrong with this boy? He then placed it on the ground and smiled at what he had found. What are you doing? When someone asked, he said, well, this is a spirit level. The ground did not seem to be flat, so I used it to measure the inclination so that I can accordingly adjust the angle of my delivery. You see, the angle is important because, for God's sake, get back to playing. Someone shouted. That's someone shouting. He ran back and started bowling. He bowled till it was almost night. Got hit for sixes left and right. Seeing this, his mother cried, what's he gonna do in life, oh dear? His father said, don't you fear, my dear, a son will be an engineer, an inventor, such a trendsetter, make the world better. See, I'm not good at this either. It's time to bring him back to the scene. This is from when he was 19. A little bit of lag, sorry. He sat in a corner of the college lawn, gazing at his laptop, fully withdrawn. He always seems to try his best. He's studying hard for the unit test. Or so they thought the passers-by, for he had set such standards high. But the true story was something else. He was reading up on artificial intelligence. ChatGPT wasn't invented yet. He found a basic generative AI on the net. He thought of a plan on that very lawn to impress this girl he had a crush on. Of using the AI to write a letter. It would be the best ever, nothing else better. He didn't give it any further thought. Write the cleverest poem on the celebration of love was his prompt. Mind you, this was a beta version from the early days. Cleverest and celebration of love was the focus of that phrase. And this is what the AI came up with. He seemed to have made up his mind, about to leave his doubts behind, Plenty of time he'd already wasted. Plans made many, never executed. You can do this, he said to himself. Come on. Vaulted the gate of her hostel onto the lawn. And as he ran towards her room, he fell. Loud was the impact of his fall, he could tell. Every girl in the hostel gave him a stare. Not even his bloody knees made them care. This is the worst day of my life, he thought. Inch by inch, he hopped away from the spot, nodded his head, deeply disappointed. Even on that special day, he stood dejected. Simple was his plan to surprise her in person. Dog poop, if not for which he'd not have slipped and fallen. As you rightly wonder now, you'd be wondering now, right? What's this story all about? It's a weird story. You'd forgive me, you'd forgive the AI if it said, it's just what the first letters of each line spell out. It's just what the first letters of each line spell out. Happy Valentine's Day. Clever, check. Celebration of love, check. But the poem made him look like a loser, right? So it inspired him to write on his own, not be a poser. So he came up with this. Get ready for some bad singing. My queen, you're the queen of my dreams, you're the queen of my dreams. I love you as much as I love those beautiful machines. Please change the slide. I love you as much as I love those beautiful machines. Those spice crazy supercars, airplanes and submarines. When I look at you, my thoughts they flow like water streams. Their dynamic viscosity changes, or so it seems. My queen, my queen. Matters of love are strange and so beyond my expertise. Propose my love to you in person surely would make me freeze. The thermodynamics of it could give me a brain disease. A simple solution there must be. Don't know what it is. He wanted to find a simple solution, an easy way out of his confusion. He then spent some time brainstorming and sensed a few good ideas forming. Discarding those options he felt were scrap, he thought of building a mobile app. How romantic it is to dedicate such a thing, an app for the queen built by her loyal king. Wasn't all that easy, he had to learn some coding, for he was a student of mechanical engineering. The app was built, released on the marketplace. He'd put a few poems in it. He called it Embrace. He then texted her a link for it that said, hey, check this out, and waited for a response from her, food or sleep without. She did not respond to him, of course. He did indeed go mad, of course. So here's some mad singing. My queen, I thought the bridge from my heart to yours had stronger beams. Give me a chance to reinforce it, I beg you please. Building an app was such a terrible idea it seems. Was that a bad mistake? Should I have fallen on my knees? It's time to find the root cause by relentless analysis. Why? My queen. Thank you for getting the joke. Thank you. Not many people would have got the joke. Thank you. But why did she not reply, you ask? Creating an app is no mean task. Well, while he worked on the build, test, and release, her aunt bought her a new phone. She was her favorite niece. By the time he texted her, things had changed, oh yes, for she by then had just switched from Android to iOS. My queen. He may have failed at love, but what was said about him did you hear? At least he created something and made it work. He truly is an engineer, an inventor, such a trendsetter, makes the world better. That's the end of chapter 2. I've not told you how many chapters there are, so. Seated in front of a panel he was, a few years later, by the way this was. Questions aplenty, he answered them all. Such a long interview. It was almost nightfall. Then came the question that defined his career. Why do you want to be an engineer? The answer is very simple, sir. It makes me feel good that we take up such tasks that no one else would. Building a bridge or going to space, we have an idea for it, whatever's the case. An idea, you say, every person has one. Pardon me, ma'am, I have a few more lines to rant on. An idea is in the head, it's abstract, not real, but only some of us can make that idea actual. Few among us make the actual matter, and very few among us make what matters better. And that is what it means to be an engineer, an inventor, such a trendsetter, makes the world better. Okay, that was too much. So then someone from the panel asked him, what's the formula for the deflection of a cantilever beam? Do you know? Anybody knows? He seemed to think hard about it. I'm sure you don't know. And this is the reason why. So they asked, what's the matter, son? Your memory seems to have faded. He said, that's just how we are, sir. These days we all are computer-aided. And now, despite his over-smartness, he landed the job. A few projects later, he had turned into a snob. He didn't feel fulfilled yet. Something seemed lacking. A poster for a poetry contest felt like a calling. So the poetry contest poster is there. Now is the time to drop some rhyme. And the theme of the poetry contest was workplace. And because I'm bad at playing this, and because I'm bad at singing, I'm now going to do something else that I'm bad at. What about some hip hop? Are you interested? Okay. The chill in the clean and conditioned air, the computer screen with its dazzling gear, the keyboard taps, the clicks of mice, the loud ringtone of the mobile device, the touch of colleagues, pissed at stuff, the chair that doesn't quite recline enough. The faceless voice on the desk phone speaker, the stifled yawns of the endless sleeper, the frequent visits to water dispensers, the automatic doors with faulty sensors, the muffled conversations in every direction, the mock fire drill and safety inspection, the meeting requests and random announcements, the audits, the training, periodic assessment. The teammate who shares more than I need him to finds it all right to say, let me update you. Oh, what do I tell you of my wonderful world? So much better than the stories I'd heard. Blessed I feel to go there every day. Did I tell you yet that they also pay? The jury found his entry weird and strange, of course. Yet they invited him to perform on stage. He walked onto the stage without much fuss to present to you all. Tales from the life of someone like us. And that's the end of my performance. Thank you very much.